Morning, everybody. And I'm just going to continue where I left off on when I was speaking about Gethsemane. And I left off on that Luke 22:31. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat. Well, and then Luke 22:32 says, I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. In Luke 22:33, Simon's response was, Lord, I am ready to go to prison and put to death. He didn't respond in agreement with God to prepare in prayer. Pray for himself. The warning, the heads up. Pray for yourself. Jesus knew that was going to be around the corner where the enemy wanted to sift him as wheat as well as the brothers. So he didn't heed the warning. Instead, he thought he can do it on his own. We can't do it on our own. If you try to do it on your own, you're going to fail because the enemy is way stronger than us. But when we unite in agreement with God, and he is with us, he strengthens us. He is everything to the situation. Everything. Without him, you can do nothing at all. So he didn't respond in agreement with God to prepare in prayer. In Luke 22:40, it says, pray. And when he was at the place, he said to the disciples, pray that you may not enter into temptation. Well, the temptation was of fear, because the fear and the trembling came because they knew that Jesus was being closed in on and betrayed and given over. And Jesus did pray. In Luke 22:44, Jesus prays, and being in agony, he prayed in agony, gut-wrenching agony, and more earnestly. And his sweat became like drops of blood. That is how earnest, and falling to the ground. So when he rose from prayer, he went back to the disciples, and he found them asleep. Exhausted from what? Sorrow. They entered into sorrow instead of into covenant with Jesus. So the disciples slept instead of listening to at least 1 hour of prayer. So we need to pray. That's how important it is. It is not a something that you can take lightly. Oh, I will pray. Oh, you say it. Many people say it flippantly, but no. The power of God is in the prayer warring with him. This is what we have to get through our hearts from our heads to our hearts, and solidly, because if Jesus thought it was incredibly important, how much more do we need to heed that warning, to be praying constantly, especially in these days, because we are the light of the world. It is dark here, but we are the light. In Yahushua's name I pray this to come to your hearts. Amen.